Welcome back to building RSMF Viewer Part 2. I'm going to show you what I've built so far. I'm going to take you to the screen, and here's the project. So I'm going to start it, and we're going to go over all the new components I've added recently. Let's move it to the center so you could see. And what we got here is a browse button like we had before, but we'll also have lots of components in the middle where we can see components RSMF file. So first thing we're going to do is click on browse to folder. I'm going to browse to a desktop, and on my desktop I have 4 RSMF files, and I'm going to click select, and they'll be added to the list here. What I can do now is I can either uncheck or check them all, or I can check them one at a time, and I'm going to click on button load selected. What this is going to do is take content of all those 4 files and load them into 3 different tables. So before we saw that there were events, participants, and conversations. So we have events, participants, and conversations here. Because we have 4 files, each one has its own conversation. We see that there are 4 entries in the conversation table. And in the participants, we have something similar where all the participants were added to one table. Now, normally I don't like doing tabs, because you have to kind of click through and try to figure out what was the number here. Oh, I gotta go back to here. So because of that, I put participants into the event table right over here, so you could just see them. And same thing with the conversation. So you don't really need to go back to participants and conversations unless you really want to see what's actually inside. You have all the data accessible from here. So participants here, and the conversation is here. And this is the display type, and what's the other thing? Platform and type. They're separated by a slash in this field. So what we really did is we took all the events from these 4 files and just sort of joined them all together, which is cool. And then this is really good if you want to QC something. Oh, the other thing we have here is we have not our attachment column, so it tells you if there are any attachments. And if you do, you can click here, and it'll tell you what the attachment is. So we got our ID, display, size, and we have the actual path with a tiny little preview, which is really cute. And then the big preview over here, so we can click on them, and if there are no attachments, there's nothing there. So that's what you get if you just want to look RSMF files. If you want to preview them, kind of, you know, maybe you use the message crawler and you want to QC what you got, or somebody sends you those files and you just like, hey, what's this? Let me look at the content before I load it to relativity. Now, the next problem I talked about in the previous video is when you just concatenate things together, it may be a little weird because the IDs for a conversation could be same in multiple files, which is in my case. Now, in relativity, it's not going to cause any issues. However, if you want to look at the events across multiple conversations, it will be confusing. So what I did is I added this checkbox saying generate new IDs. So if I click here and say load, when we go to conversations, you'll see that there are only 2 conversations now, because it identified all the duplicative conversations, it merged them together, and it gave it a new ID, which is like this GUID here, and then it associated to here, right? And then I did the same thing for participants. So now we have a sort of a unique list of participants. And just like before, you can navigate to events, you can scroll down to your attachments, and you can view the attachments. And if there are multiple, they'll be listed here, and you can click on them here. If you do get attachments that are not supported, so like this is a vcard file, so of course you can't open that. Well, what you can do is grab this path over here and navigate to the folder where this file exists. Now we need to talk about files and where they exist. So when we started this, we had these 4 RSMF files. However, when we loaded them into the RSMF Viewer, we had to extract them, right? So the application has to extract all the JSON files and all the attachments in order for you to see them. And this is where I'm a little bit conflicted on, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing now, and I may change it in the future, or I'll also ask for your feedback of what you guys think. So what I did is I took these 4 files and I expanded them in this. I created a temporary folder, and I made inside that folder with the name of the file, and I put all the attachments and everything that's contained in there along with a JSON file, right? So now it's all stored like that. And what my application does is it goes through these folders and it finds the attachments and displays them for you. What I was thinking though is if you, let's say, want to not see, for example, these files, and you just want to see one, and you just click load selected. Well, what my application does is it doesn't delete the ones you unchecked. Right, and this is kind of where I'm thinking, should I delete, should I not delete? And at this point, I think I'm going to leave it like that, where it doesn't delete them. This way, if you go in now, check another one, it doesn't have to go in, extract the content of the EML, unzip, and do all those things. So it's quicker. But the downside is you're going to have this folder here. The next thing I was thinking about is, okay, so maybe when you exit the application, it should automatically delete this folder. However, if there are a lot of files that look like applications sort of hanging, and then you're going to be tempted to go to Task Manager and like kill it or something. So I didn't do that. But the way it works right now is you get this file generated, and inside of each there is a folder for each RSMF file that you have selected during that session or during use of the application. The last thing I did is I copied these menus from Message Crawler, which I literally just copy and paste. And that's something I'm going to need to add, like the fit. It doesn't work right now. It doesn't actually do anything. This way you could adjust how things fit in the grid view. I'll make that work. But aside from that, I would say this viewer is complete. It accomplishes the goal that I set out at the beginning of a project. It meant to be an RSMF viewer, and you are able to view RSMF files, and you can see what's inside, and you can see attachments. However, I know you guys are not going to be happy with this. I know the first question I'm going to get is, ooh, that's cool. I combine all these RSMF files together. Can I save it out now? I know that's coming. So here's what I'm thinking. What I wanted to do is I wanted to keep this viewer free so that people who have these files could look at them. But I wanted Message Crawler to be the application that actually saves and generates RSMF files. So what I think I have to do is build like a premium features here that allow you to resave. So let's say you open a couple of these files and you can resave them to a new RSMF file, something like that. Maybe export to a DAT file. What I really wanted to do is any kind of saving and generating. I wanted to keep in Message Crawler, not in here. But I feel like people are just gonna say, like, look, we need to export from here. Now, if you want to export from here, you can just kind of select this and, you know, copy, and then go to like Notepad and, you know, just paste them, and it's gonna be a tab delimited, right? So you can search and replace 2 pipes or something like that. So you could pull the data out from here. It's not gonna be nice. All right, so point is, I'm gonna continue working on this, and I'm gonna build what I would call a premium features or something like that, where you're allowed to generate RSMF files or DAT files, maybe JSON file, I don't know. And my thinking is this: is if you've purchased Message Crawler, any kind of features in here are gonna be available to you for free, right? So the viewer is going to be free. Any kind of saving features. Okay, so one more time. Let me restate this. Message Crawler, paid application, $1,000 a year per station, that's what you get. RSMF Viewer, viewing features are going to be free, so anybody can download it and use it to look at files. However, if you want to resave to a new file after you open it, that will be a premium and a paid feature. If you are user and you purchased Message Crawler license, you'll get the premium features for Relativity Viewer for free. That is what I'm thinking of how I'm going to do it. I am going to work on those premium features to be able to save, and we'll continue this in the next video. All right, see you guys later.